let's talk about the other aspect of Hindu atheism that we kind of did not talk about in the last video. And that has to do with the fact that Charvak philosophy is not the only atheistic or non atheistic philosophy from ancient India on the basis of which modern Hindu atheists justify their so called atheism. Charvak philosophy was one, but there are other schools of non theistic thought from ancient India that are sometimes used as justification to, call justifications by people who want to call themselves a Hindu atheist. And the problem with those is that even though you can go into individual details of them, you probably don't need to. There are certain beliefs in circulation in the Hindu community that are comparable to the idea of God, and they are equally irrational. And therefore, if someone subscribes to those views, they cannot be called an atheist. And before I do that, I would like to explain the word atheism once more for context. The word atheism is used as a descriptor for people. The word atheist is used as a descriptor for people who do not believe in a personal God. A personal God means a cosmic being who's like a person, who has human characteristics, either physical or behavioral, but human at any rate. This means that they are kind or compassionate or have the intelligence to change things or create a universe or to interfere in human activities and human society or guide the course of human life or even human civilization. That is a personal God. The problem is that a lot of people who say that they do not believe in personal gods still believe in some kind of impersonal God. And if someone believes in a principle, for example, like karma, then they are kind of sort of believing in God. Because think about what karma is, it is the idea that human moral actions have moral consequences. It is the idea that if you perform an action which is unkind, then you put out into the universe a little something that will one day come back to you as unkindness. Or it is the idea that if you perform a good action, a virtuous action, and put it out into the universe, one day that will come back to you as virtue or kindness. So, what is happening here is that we are assuming that the universe has some kind of a moral ability. And a moral ability is something that only human beings have. Morality does not exist outside of human society. In a forest, if a lion eats a deer and the deer suffers a lot, then the lion is not performing something immoral. And if the lion fails to capture the deer and the deer runs away and the lion cannot find any other food and the lion dies of hunger, then the deer is not doing something immoral. Morality is something that human beings came up with in order to maintain order within human society. Morality is a way for people to live with each other. Because if human tribes decided that murdering is perfectly fine, then that tribe will probably not exist for very long. So, morality, justice, law were things that human beings created so that they may continue to survive in a tribe and the tribe may become bigger and stronger because the tribe provides safety to the individual human being. And without the tribe, the individual human being will not stand much of a chance in front of a lion or even to find food by themselves, because human beings work for each other. The reason a tiger will not attack a human being is because the tiger knows that if it does attack the human being, tomorrow there will be 10 people out to hunt it and kill it, so that the tiger may not kill human beings in the future. So, even though human beings were not the strongest of animals back in the day, their strength lay in numbers, their strength lay in their tribal identity. Over time, what happened was morality became an integral part of tribal identity and it then was adopted by the tribal religions. And therefore, it is these days believed that religions have some kind of a monopoly on the idea of morality. This is not the case. Human beings would be moral regardless of whether they are religious or not. Human beings do not have morality because religion gave it to them. Human beings created morality as a way to live with each other, and then religion kind of sort of took it and absorbed it into its narrative. So, when someone says that karma is an integral part of the universe. Karma is some kind of a cosmic principle that guides the course of events. What they are essentially doing is that they're engaging in religious thought. They will do good things because they're good people, but they will ascribe it to a cosmic principle that they have named karma. Or they will do bad things, or rather, they will look at someone else doing bad things and tell themselves that one day this person will get what he deserves. It's a way to feel good about our place in society. It's a way to feel good about the fact that when someone is doing something good, they will get something good in return, and when someone does something bad, they will be punished. Of course, karma also makes way for the idea of reincarnation, because if you ask anyone about why about go ahead and ask someone if they know of any good person who has suffered a lot more than they should, and they will probably say yes. Go ahead and ask them if they know of any bad people who have not suffered and not been punished, and they will say yes. So, how do they justify their belief in karma? They justify it by appealing to reincarnation. They say that, sure, the good person has not gotten what they deserve, but they will in their next life. Or the bad person deserves to be punished and he has escaped all human justice, but he will be punished one day in their next life or the next to next life. It's a way of using reincarnation or belief in reincarnation or belief in multiple births or multiple lives. It's a way to use that to justify belief in karma, which at the end of the day remains an idea that is adjacent to God. Because when people say they believe in God, what they are saying is that I did something good and God will reward me, or I did something bad and God will punish me. And that's exactly what karma is, except that there is no person at the top of it, but the principle of intelligence and moral decision making remains in the universe without the need to invoke a person. At the end of the day, the problem remains the same. The problem is that the people who believe in God and the people who believe in karma are both ascribing human characteristics to God. And this, by the way, also applies to Abrahamic religions, where people are fond of saying that they're not idolaters. They're fond of saying that God does not have human characteristics. How can you worship an idol with arms and legs and heads? When they actually are opposed to the idea that a human being is imagining God like themselves. But imagining God without arms and legs does not mean that you're imagining God without human characteristics. If you are assuming that God has morality, God has intelligence, God has intention, compassion, anger, jealousy, all these qualities, you are still projecting your humanity onto your idea of God. And that, even though it may not translate into idolatry, is essentially the same thing. But I digress. We were talking about Hindu atheism. My point, as I have made it so far in this video, is that when someone says they are Hindu atheist, they are not actually, they cannot actually call themselves an atheist if they believe in supernatural principles such as karma and reincarnation, because these ideas are not very different from the idea of God. An audio transcript of this video will be available on my podcast, and you can subscribe to my podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you listen to podcasts by searching for Vimoh Talks, VIMOH TALKS. And if you are listening to it not on an audio platform and just on YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel to be notified whenever a new video goes up. Don't forget to ring the bell icon. I am told it is something that I'm supposed to tell you. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.